Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to share whatever this time may bring forth. I noticed as I hit go live, I've been allowing myself to deviate from my schedule. I'm a man who likes to be on time. But I've been allowing myself some flexibility and starting a couple minutes early. That's the only thing I observed. So, brothers and sisters, I feel blessed. Thank you. It's nice to be here with you. It's nice to be, frankly, honestly, truly, it's nice to be. When, there's a lot of factors involved in what brings forth feeling nice to be here, right? But the goal with the topic is growing self-love. That's one of the things I've learned for myself, the importance of that simple fact and practice can be tragically overlooked. And I think there's a lot of people in our world today that we're sharing this society with. They've got a lot of misdirected love and a lot of misplaced hate, anger. And those things, they bring forth a lot of discomfort when you're not filled with the love of self and the love of being. This world can be pretty painful, pretty scary, pretty confusing place. But I hope my explanations, my observations don't inspire confusion, because what I'm trying to offer is that peace is now. Love and joy and gratitude, all of those things are available for us, each of us, for us to choose and to feel and to share, because that's what life is really about. It's about love. And blessings to you, all of you who are dropping in. And amen. Don't put God in a box. Don't imagine God as some distant, far off, unknowable thing either. Because what I found happens with our minds, the patterns of the ego, the ego being the self, right? Who I am. I am Jack, and that is Jack's ego. My character in this story of time. So this society teaches obedience and uses a lot of logic and reasoning, actually uses a lot of confusion that leads people to illogical conclusions, but following rules is okay, right? That's the idea. As long as you're following the rules, you should be okay. That was the life I lived for over 40 years, trying to follow the rules that others created. And I lost sight. Well, there's a lot of value in the rules others have created for, so for society to function, like the processes of traffic, stop signs and lights, directions. There is a value to be found in the rules around. But the most important rules are for yourself to discover. Your rules. Who rules you? What rules you? See, what we focus on, where our energy and attention goes, that bond creates a lot of control. And so picture this mentally for yourself. If you're spending a lot of time in thought and energy with problems, You know, there's a lot of civil unrest in the world, a lot of political issues and economic issues, and there's a lot of conflicts and chaos to be found. It's really easy to pick a side on who's the righteous one, who's the wrong one, but blah, blah. It does matter, but it does not matter until those problems are in front of you and, you know, opportunities are in front of you. Oh, praise be. I just looked in the chat a little more. I meant to mention this. Thank you, our poll. Praise God. Period. For those who are living their own life, I spent a little bit of time on the Paul Unslave platform. Proper instruction motivates people, rather, I should say. Is my camera off or is that my signal there? At any rate, there was, it seemed to be a trigger about people sharing their praise publicly. And there was discussion of scripture about how you should not go pray in public. But you know what? On this stream, I welcome it. You want to praise God? Praise. You want to praise another? Praise. Praise be shared in all ways, in all things. God is the good, so allow the good to come forth through you. And what is good is recognizing the greatness of another. And I can see no other, right? God is the good. The good is to be recognized by all of us. Here, let me come back here. The small self is the ego. The self is source, consciousness, God. Amen. That's what I agree. The ego is not the self. The ego is the mask or the persona the mind tries to trick you to believe is the real you. Amen. That's what I realized for myself. And it was praise God for me. I think it is by the grace. Well, it is by the grace of a creative, intelligent force of life, right? There's something greater than us that brings us forth. There's a spirit of us, an essence that is, there's an essence and a light within each and every one of us that is filtered, this essence and light of life, containing wisdom, containing intelligence, experience, and containing, there is an inner desire to give that is natural. I think all of those are within us. That light is within us, but the persona we carry, that's what dims the light. And what dims our light, the light of generosity, of courage, of compassion, of giving, what dims those lights is our memories of regret, of shame, of judgment, pain, hate, condemnation, all these thoughts of negativity. They can weigh us down and dim the light we have available. And, you know, I feel the light within me is very strong. I pray often, and, you know, I pray often, meditate, stay peaceful and grounded and within often. And I do spend time each day intentionally trying to surrender myself, overcome myself, detach from me in order to know the unknown. And brothers and sisters, those adventures, the time spent in thought of devotion, of of love and attention towards the greater spirit of God, that's the word I use, honestly, it feels good. And through those moments of surrender and seeking, longing for God's presence, God's strength, the Spirit of Christ, that energy to be with me, so that I might have a better idea of what to do. Because this world, man, this world will drive you nuts if you allow it. But I think that's the divinity of this creation, is that we get these challenges placed before us in our own progression of life. Sometimes these pains, sometimes these handicaps, sometimes these unanticipated, right, from our perception, these unanticipated losses or gains. There's something amazing about love. Praising God in public is not what the message was about. You can praise God whenever. Prayer is a one-on-one conversation with God. It's personal and should be done in private. Amen. But I don't believe that prohibits people from sharing praise in public. And praise, yes, oh, that's what you were saying. Praise God whenever. Prayer is the personal. Thank you. Took me a minute to make that connection, the distinction you clearly presented. Yes. The praise of God. And honestly, I think that's kind of what I've heard one of the local pastors say this expressly, that actually, no, it wasn't him. Doesn't matter. Brothers and sisters, the gospel of the Bible, that book that's been passed down, it was the good news, right? The gospel is the good news. What is the good news? The sun has risen, okay? You can take that from the archetype in the book. The Son of God has risen, therefore the path to God is known. It's been freely shared through instruction and example for us to learn from. And then in the other context, the gospel is the good news. The sun has risen for us today. We get to cognize, to feel, to experience life in this form at this time here on earth together. Holy cows, man. When you can look at life like that, like, holy cows, man, we're actually a part of history. Like, what we do here is going to be recorded and, known about for eternity, as long as the records are visible or maintainable, but we're a part of that. That's kind of a cool gift, I think, given to us by some creative force of intelligence. Gives us a soul, the spirit of life, the objective experience of being subject to experience. Because that is how wisdom is gained, right? Wisdom it's acquired through experience. That's where we gain the best wisdom, the strongest wisdom is through experience. And then as experiences of humanity have grown, technologies, languages, vocabularies have changed and evolved, and we've come to a pretty amazing point. Brothers and sisters, we have really come to an amazing point in human history. So what are we going to do? It's my belief, it's my theory, and I know it sounds crazy, but I actually think that when humanity comes together, when groups of people come together with a combined purpose, holy cows, man, there's some amazing things that are accomplished. I mean, there's records of the Chinese government working together, building all these cities that people don't even friggin' use them. I don't know if you've heard about those, the ghost cities. It's just crazy, the stupid things that people have been doing, like these wars. What if we got together, like a group of us, and maybe we used our connections to connect with other groups, and we grouped a whole bunch of groups together for one purpose. Let's try to overcome the divisions of authority and wealth. Let's see what we can do to overcome those divisions that have been so such a massive part of our history. Welcome, Jesse. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Jack and everybody. What's happening?
Well, I'm here. Actually, thank you. I'm glad you showed up. I realized I got totally way off topic. The topic today was supposed to be about growing self-love. And as you showed up, I was back in my idea of grouping groups of us together, organizing and connecting a bunch of these groups that have been forming at this time on Earth. Now let's see what we can do if we work together to end wars, to overcome the divisions of wealth and authority.
Yeah, brother. And when you're talking about those Chinese cities, it seems like that's a plan for something. Well, herding them in for something. I don't think it was just built for nothing and stuff, right? Where obviously we want to hope that, it's for the best, but it seems like these things that's been going on hasn't been for the best for humanity, but we can only have hope and faith that things will turn around and those cities will now become safe spaces for people and stuff, right? Can try to manifest the best out of whatever it is that's going on instead of keeping the mind manifesting the worst and destruction, right? If enough people believe that we can come together to solve world hunger, to make world peace. If enough people believe it, then it's attainable because we are manifestors and creators of this universe, co-creators of this universe.
Amen. Hey, Margot, am I going to the city council meeting in Spokane tonight? I have not been guided that way. That is one place where I could start. Thank you for your suggestion, Margot. But if you recognize right here, we can start as well. We don't have to make up some far off distant way of uniting and finding ways to overcome this stuff. And here, actually, we'll come back to the topic, growing self-love. Jessica Jane, amen. Who we choose to surround ourselves with is definitely under the umbrella of self-love. And I know what I experienced in my past. And brothers and sisters, I'd encourage you, play some mental exercises with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself privately. This little prayer in private, have a come to Jesus moment with you. And ask yourself with compassion and honesty, how much do you love me, right? How much do I love that face in the mirror? Have that conversation. Look yourself in the eye. And then identify the reasons you do. Remember those reasons, okay? Because what this world teaches a lot of people through religions and diagnosis, grading systems, all this bullshit, excuse my language, All of this stuff has conditioned many people to believe they are not worthy, right? The greatest lie that's ever told is to yourself. I'll be happy when XYZ. X does this, or I receive Y, or when Z finally happens. I'll be happy when. What you're doing within yourself is you're setting conditions. You're telling your inner spirit, don't allow the happiness to show until X, Y, and Z happen. As soon as you start feeling some happiness within you, you'll remind yourself, I'm not supposed to be happy, and then you'll find a reason to be negative. The idea of self-love, brothers and sisters, if you can't love being you, being happy and content all by yourself, just with the way you are, the way the world is, if you can't find happiness within yourself by yourself, you got to look within yourself and ask yourself why.
And that includes your connection to creation, God, love, source, whatever it is, that freedom to express it whenever, however, to whomever you want. And don't let anybody try to twist that against you.
Amen. That's something we each grow and learn how to do in ourselves in our own ways, but growing in confidence and in the confidence in expressing yourself wherever you are, with whoever you're with, as long as you're truthful and honest, that is the key. Now, your tone, your energy, the way you do it, it might start out awkward, standing up against people who've been upsetting you, or there's so many different examples, but the thumbnail today was a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Okay? When you find a reason greater than yourself to live, when you find a reason and a purpose in this world to die for, brothers and sisters, that's when life begins. I thought my life began when I held my son in my hands. He became my reason for being, and then life circumstances later changed that to a different purpose, and those reasons have never left. It's just my accessibility to those reasons have changed. But brothers and sisters, the way to find happiness within yourself is to see yourself with objectivity, detach from yourself and see yourself with honesty, with compassion. Because this world, it brings a lot of pain, a lot of memories, and these memories can bring a lot of misery into our lives. And until we overcome the reasons for the reasons for the discomfort, until we overcome our mind, we are literally the ones preventing ourselves from happiness. Do you want to be the one who prevents yourself from being happy? I mean, honestly.
I don't.
Right. I never did. Thank you, Jesse, for that honesty. I never did want to prevent myself from being happy. But when I look back, guess what? I'm the only one who could. And I sure as hell did.
You're usually the one that gets in your own way. As much as there's obstacles around, people tend to be their own worst critic, their own worst enemy until you start to find that harmony within yourself and know that you're worthy, that you belong, no matter what kind of crazy journey you have. And once you figure that you do belong, just like each and every other person does, then it gives you the ability to become yourself, to become the best version of you. And that's all that creation wants.
Well said, Jesse. I mean, and this is what I think religions may have caused a bit of confusion. You know?
Twisted it, put everybody against each other. What is this negative, satanic force? It's putting people against each other. So as crazy as, people say how religion has connected them to source creation, but it's also divided them, put them in that opposing energy for anyone that's not in the same alignment with what they believe, even though we're all here experiencing however we want to experience this thing. It's just when people get in each other's faces and say, no, that's wrong, you have to do it like I do, that is the opposing force. That's the force that keeps us divided from each other. And that's what you want to avoid. If you have a true place in this beautiful creative force that just keeps growing and will never stop infinitely.
Well said again. The religions, many of them did a good job of conditioning the fear of God. And I mean, that's where some of my conversations on this panel have gone on occasion. People want to defend fear like it's to be treasured and kept. And it's like, oh my goodness. What you said, though, Jesse, is the creative force is there. It wants us to find joy, to be joyful and delight in the expression of life that has been brought forth. The day is the expression of life that has been brought forth for us all to receive. And we've all been brought forth for us all to receive. We don't need to offer so much condemnation, so much negativity and judgment. I mean, that's what Jesse was saying. There's you got to do it this way, and no, you're wrong for being. It's like, whatever,
you're
man.
Wrong for being you. You're wrong for being what you think is right, but no, you're wrong for that. And that is not a Christed force. That's not a force that's in alignment with creation. That seems to be the exact opposite.
Yeah, we live in a world where confusion has been generously dispersed. Hey, and Sarah, amen. This comment, happiness is a state of mind, not a result of something that occurs. If you feel happy because something happened, you're experiencing a dopamine hit. You're a drug addict, not actually happy. That's how these social media, the social engineers working through these social medias, that's what they fully understand, how to entice and bring forth these chemical addictions within us. It's brilliant. Humans are brilliantly designed. Hey, and amen. Quality over quantity of life. In many, many different aspects, that is true. I was speaking in general for sure, brother. But if it applies, hey, damn it. Any who are feeling drawn, please feel free to click the link and join. Today, I was reminded, actually, Jesse, you know a lot of names. I don't know if I've asked you before. Aaron Abke, you come across him yet by chance?
No.
Okay. I recently found him through somewhere. Anyway, Today he did a great presentation on self-love, growing self-love. Well, his was tips on practicing it. The idea I have is growing self-love. As we can grow in acceptance of ourselves, appreciation of ourselves, and recognizing there is no separation between what's within us and what's out of us. It seems separate, but it's all the same happening. It's just interpretations of energies that's within us. This world we were born into through the government, religious, economic structures, it has profited from division. Okay? Dividing the people helps people feel isolated, feel alone, often defenseless. And then those who are feeling isolated, alone, defenseless, they lash out. They lash out with fear and anger, hate. And brothers and sisters, each day we awaken, each day that we get to experience is an opportunity for us to grow. And I think that is the best way to show yourself love, brothers and sisters, is to grow into who you are. To grow into who you might become first starts with acceptance. Acceptance of everything that's brought you forth into today. And then who knows, man? Thoughts, Jesse?
Be all that you can be.
Amen. Just do it in God's army, not the state-sponsored terrorist organizations.
Do it because you want to be part of creation, creating bonds, creating love, making yourself a creative force in this universe. Don't do it in division, destruction, and be part of the opposing force to that creation. Choose wisely, because these are pivotal times in history. We don't know what can be around the corner. You want to make sure that you are right with creation, that you're in alignment with whatever anything happens, because you don't want to say, well, maybe I should have done that, because there's no shoulda, woulda, couldas when it comes to, standing up and having to face that creative force, when it comes to judgment time, if there ever is one.
Amen. I think the best way for us all to move forward is to intentionally choose, seek God today. Seek God with an honest judgment and take a look at yourself. And then through honest eyes, with the realization that we can do better, we can each renew ourselves every day. This world, the reason the structures of government and all this crap works is because people have been taught to live in their memories, live in their mind. People have been conditioned through trauma and experience. And you know what? Here, there's a lot of explanations to these conclusions. The conclusions are humanity has been very confused. Okay? The practice of compassion and forgiveness, it's not for others. I mean, it is, but it is not. Because, brothers and sisters, when we get down to it, we are all one and the same. We are all just distinct parts of this creation that has come forth. And for us to spend so much of our time, our lifetime, our energies arguing, disagreeing, just fighting for no reasons. And then there's real people who are fighting for survival, who are fighting physically to escape from Oh, brothers and sisters, there are so many families and people in this world right now who could use some physical signs of faith. And brothers and sisters, as parts of the future, right? As we are a part of the future will be looking back on at us collectively at this time on earth. What are they doing? What did they do? Brothers and sisters, as you look at yourself, imagine yourself in the future, looking back at you today. What do you want to remember yourself doing? You don't want to remember yourself living with regret, thinking, oh, I should have spoken up when this happened, or I should have said something when that happened. Or maybe I should have forgiven a long time ago. Maybe I should have just moved on from that. Brothers and sisters, we don't need to live with so much regret. We don't need to live with shame when we present ourselves as honorable, as trustworthy, as dependable, truthful, caring. When we find within ourselves a way to serve outside of ourselves, that's when your life is really starting to grow. Because I believe within each of us, someone mentioned this in the chat earlier, something about talents. Within each of us is a greater expression of our potential. If you can remind yourself of that, just accept that fact humbly, that you don't know what you'll do specifically until opportunities and choices are brought forth. But if you can know you and love you in this moment of being you, with all the things of the past, maybe all of the challenges of the future, but if you can love being you today, you got the battle handled. Because the key is to give yourself permission to take control of your life. Recognize the Lord and the Creator powers, responsibilities. The Lord and the Creator of you is within you. It is you. There are no external rulers, no external masters that you must obey unless you choose to accept that. So if you unite yourself to becoming the Lord and Master of your thoughts, capturing the thoughts that enter the realm of your kingdom, treat your body like a temple of God, as though maybe, probably, actually, God is within you.
What a concept. Where did we hear that? Didn't we hear that somewhere?
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, this is God's amazing story. That's what I've humbled myself to truly trust and know, that there is an infinite, divine, glorious Creator. I almost threw in, with a sense of humor, but I don't want to presume too much. But I do.
Has to have a sense of humor to allow this shit show to go along for as long as it has.
That's honestly what I choose to believe, is that God has perhaps an infinite sense of humor to go with the infinite compassion, the infinite intelligence, the infinite power, the infinite control. Because what I realized has been happening in our society, Jesse, is I think they're following the pattern of God, they being the ones who have seized control of property around the world. I think they're following the example of God. God would be, how might God control conscious beings? Through what they comes into their awareness, through what they know.
But that's the exact opposite of what God is, because God doesn't want to control this consciousness. God wants the children to experience it. It's just unfortunate that people that decided to think that they could control others, have been leading people in the path of destruction and chaos in order to come back with, create order out of the chaos that they've created. And all of us have to feel that and live it and breathe it and try to figure out the twilight zone that it's become.
Yes. But I'm going to come back to that, Jesse. Hey, there's a request. Please ask Jesse the name of that paint color. What are you doing?
There is no name. So what it was I had to take a sample because the person that came in here and painted actually like painted a different wall blue, didn't paint it really good. So I have to come in here and put a coat on to fix. There was this ugly blue and they painted on the plug. So I just took a sample out of the wall and then went and color matched it. So I don't really know the actual color, so I can't help you out there.
Where'd it go? There, maybe it's purgatory white, number 4.
It's kind of a grayish blue.
Oh yeah, now I do see it more clearly. I honestly did not even give it much attention.
As it's not that important to give it that much attention unless you're actually needing the color for some certain purpose.
Hey, I wanted to come back to what you were saying though too about perhaps God does not want control, but I do believe God wants good, wants us to seek the good, and it has been the darkness, the visible darkness, such as the secret societies and those who have taken control, the mobsters and gangsters that are government now. They've been using this withholding knowledge, right? Taking the truth and twisting it, manipulating it, letting out little bits and pieces of knowledge for the masses. So that way, different parts have different beliefs and people from different areas think different things. And the next thing you know, everyone's confused and doesn't really know. There you go.
The can, this little metal piece touched the screen and it bumped me out. That's as weird as that is. It just touched a little part of the screen, I guess the backwards button or whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, well, regardless of what has been happening on the greater stage, individually, each of us, if you want a more healthy relationship in your relationships in your family, in your profession, if you want greater success in those relationships, start by going within. How much love do you show yourself? Because the amount of love you have within yourself, that's what you're going to be able to share. And if you're not offering yourself any love, well, as you're going through your day, you may be very short fused, real quick, chip on the shoulder, real quick to react and engage in a fight. And brothers and sisters, back to that, life is too short. Choose your battles. Choose what you engage with. Choose what you want. And choose honestly. Figure out, what do you love? Why do you love it?
I love helping people, man.
I actually do too. It's something I recognized in myself a long time ago, that and I know there is science behind it too, where chemically our inner being is rewarded when we are recognized outside. And the best way to be recognized from those around is to offer service. You help someone's life improve, they recognize you, man, the good feelings within, holy cows.
When people have come up to me and given me a hug and say that you literally saved my life, you can't even, no amount of money someone could give me could, even come close to that feeling of someone from their heart as they're giving you a hug, say, you literally saved my life. One of the most powerful feelings you could ever experience, at least I've experienced.
I haven't had those, that deep of response, but I do know from my past the recognition I've received from people for some of my sacrifices, for some of my efforts. I have received recognition from others. And I tell you what, the memories of those things, the memory of past love, the memory of past gratitude, those memories, brothers and sisters, are treasures. Okay. When we face our darkness, that's where you spend your time. You don't spend your time in the darkness. You spend your time, okay, the darkness is, but I've got these treasures. I know my worth. I know my value. I know I'm worthy of happiness. I know I'm worthy of peace. I know I'm worthy of feeling good. Sometimes for us to feel good about ourselves, we do need to make some changes, right? We'll have to change our attitude in some things. We'll have to change our diet choices, maybe how we spend our time, maybe, the prospects of our future professions. Maybe we've got to change our activities to reflect how much we actually care about ourselves. Because it is very easy in this world to confuse service and self-sacrifice for enabling and self-sabotage. Right?
And make sure you're gentle with yourself, because you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. Your body remembers, when you cast these words on yourself. So just be gentle and know that not every day is going to be perfect. Some days you're going to make mistakes, and that's allowed, but just don't be too hard beating yourself up when you do make these mistakes, because, you ultimately, what you're putting in that energy and towards that mistake magnifies. So, if you can just humbly, I fucked up and I'm going to do better. And that's, an honorable way to, be able to, hey, Joe, what's happening?
What's going on?
Amen, brother. That compassion, showing the self, your own character, a little mercy, a little compassion. It's a great way to practice so that you can start offering mercy and compassion to others.
I always tell myself in my head, be nice to yourself. Like I always tell other people, be nice. But the last part of that is I say it in my head, to yourself.
Amen.
I say that a lot every day. I'm going to be my hardest critic. I think most of us are probably our hardest critics.
Yeah.
Like
I used to be.
That jacket, though, I can be pretty hard on Jesse. I can be a critic on Jesse with that jacket he's wearing, though, right? I can be an outside hard critic on him.
He's painting, man. He's working.
Fucking with you, Jesse. I'm fucking with you. I got my paint outfits too, man.
I was on the Machine Lies, panel, and someone was like, it'd be easier if you take out those things. And like, I first started, my parents managed an apartment building. So I started painting when I was 4 years old, right? By the time I was 11, I was painting summers, at my dad's company that he was working for, right? When I was, until I got kicked out of my house. So, and he was giving me tips on how I should paint. It'd be easier if I took these things out. The problem is the middle bar that holds up these racks. So they usually put it one of those butterfly hooks in the back, so you just can't take it out. And then the other thing is the clips, they tend up, especially if they're older, they end up snapping when you take them out. So I've got good painting skills that I can paint around. I'm not in any rush. I don't have no slave master telling me I gotta work faster or, paint harder or faster. I just do it at my own time, my own pace. I enjoy what I do and not having to have rush through things, right? So, but it's interesting how people want to tell you, how you could do things better.
Yes. It's just in that because it's easier than actually doing a thing themselves, right? It's easier to sit back and throw that football better. You should have dunked that ball. When you can't do any better, you can't do it.
Especially the people that are playing professional, they're better critics. Oh man, well, why didn't he catch that? Like you were gonna catch that as some guy's trying to kill you as the ball's coming, you're leaping through the air, and then they're pissed off that the guy didn't catch it.
How you didn't catch that ball? Like you could have even got to the ball.
Right.
I've been painting for 20 years or something. I ain't used tape in 10 years, man. I don't even need that shit no more either, bro. It's a real thing. Get you a good brush, and you don't even fucking need the tape as long as you got a decent brush.
Yeah, man.
One of my buddies in there sound like Jack. Fucking double. I think she hit her knee or her foot. That went all the way through. Fuck. I think she hit her foot or something. So like Jack with the old deer. Fucking double fuck.
People are very fascinating. What you're describing, how people will react and offer so much judgment and criticism from ignorance, without thinking it through. The reality,
yes,
you didn't catch that. Your fat ass wouldn't even made it to it. So,
what is that? Is that I think we just parroting what we've seen other people do. I think that's the response we see other people do, and we're just parroting it without thought.
And it's the delivery, right? Because all that person had to say is, why don't you take those middle bars out? Yes. And I would have just explained, right? But instead of, oh, it's easier, you should be taking that bar out, it'll make it easier. Yes. But all they had to say, right? It's the delivery in the way you communicate things. And that's where their miscommunication comes in, that people don't have these flow conversations because it seems like they're talking at a person instead of talking to a person.
And that ask a question is always better than assuming. Right. I get in trouble with that shit too. Why don't you just ask, Joe? Why didn't you? Or why don't you? As opposed to being a dick. You're right.
But assume makes an ass of you to me, right? That's what assume is.
Yes. Right.
I've been trying to do a better job of being curious, asking questions, so that I don't get into jumping to conclusions and assuming.
Very good. This is smart. That's intelligent. Yeah.
But what I found is the ego, the people that are defensive and insecure, they get upset when you ask them to explain themselves. You've seen that, Joe. I know you have.
Yes.
So am I. But that just shows the person, right? It's not you that has the issue. If you just ask a question, a person goes off and flips out, they still have work to do.
Agreed. Yeah, it probably shows the first thing we talked about, inability to communicate. They never learned. Right? No, they just were never in environment. Everybody they were around, that's how they respond. So they respond, and they don't. They probably got some type of trauma and shit like that as well. If you react that intense to a motherfucker asking you a question, there's probably some trauma. I hate to use that word, but it suits.
It's the defense mentality that people are in. They think that they need to defend themselves constantly instead of just, flowing in that conversation or with that person.
Angeline, you didn't want to hop on panel? I just want to see if that's your real hair, Angeline.
That's my girlfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see you. Wait, man. Mine just came to the window.
Hi, Angeline.
Oh my God, the dog bit one of the chickens.
It's standing like this.
Is that for real? For real?
Yeah, look at
Oh my God, one of the chickens. We got 40 of them. One of my friends came by with his dog and they got into it with the chicken. Chicken scratched the dog, dog bit the chicken. Country life, I guess.
Life, period, man. Life, period. It's amazing, Joe. I've come to I've sincerely, as a man, as a physical being, I am truly humbled at the gift that life really is. And brothers and sisters, in your own way, I encourage you, gratitude, serious, not just in your mind, but in your heart. If you can become grateful for things, for being you, man.
Here's something I was throwing around in my head, Jack. Since you said grateful for being you, it appears that you can only appreciate other people if you appreciate yourself. If you're down on yourself, then I come around and you're thinking, if you were something special, why would you be hanging out with a loser like me? When you're down on yourself, you can't appreciate any fucking thing, right? So yeah, appreciate yourself, man. Find ways to appreciate yourself. Yeah.
Brother, that's so good. I mentioned it earlier. I may pull the link up if it continues this way, but that I watched a talk today by that Aaron Abke about self-love, and he gave the example, and I remember doing this myself when I was feeling hurt in the world and, unseen, unheard, unappreciated, unrecognized. I was unloved and I was hurt. And man, I found so much to complain about. And I brought myself around others who had lots to complain about. We found a lot of joy in sharing fucking complaints. All of that time I was just wasting, being enabled by people who cared about, they were just like me. But we wasted all this time complaining. We could have been doing shit to change.
Yeah, I think we all been there. If you got a shot with the new Jack mind, and let's say we put you in a 20-something-year-old body of 30-year-old Jack, think all the fucking I don't know, all the shit that would have been different, man.
One of my first jobs, I worked at Trans-Canada Pipelines. It was this pipeline company, and at the time, like when I was in my adult upgrading school, they nicknamed me Happy Head because I'm always happy, positive. When it was New Year's, I said Happy New Year's for the first month or half or 2 months. Every day that I seen everybody, I just said Happy New Year. So they nicknamed me Happy Head. So after that, I'm working at this Trans-Canada Pipelines. I'm in the purchasing department. One of my big things, I bought 150 laptops for the department, was one of my things that I did for the company. But he put me with this assignment with this girl, and she was negative. Everything was negative. It was too cold out. It was too warm out. They put too much mayonnaise on my sandwich. Every day, all I heard was all day long was complain.
What do you think?
So I'm trying to be happy, positive as I can, working with someone day in and day out that's complaining. And then I found myself starting to complain about shit. And I'm not a complainer. I wasn't complaining. And so I went to my boss and I said, I need to resign. And he's like, what? What do you mean? And I said, because put me with this lady that's complaining, and now I'm finding I'm adopting her habits, and I don't want to be a complainer like that. I don't want me being around her and her energy affecting and changing me into a complainer. He's like, you don't have to quit. He goes, I'll just assign you to somebody else or whatever, another person. So I didn't end up having to leave the company for it. But I went straight up to him and I just said, hey, I'm catching this about myself. I don't like it. And he was able to rectify that. And, you know, it helped me along in my journey and not becoming a complainer like this person.
I'm curious, Jesse, do you think any of the way her complaining rubbed off on you, you think any of your positivity rubbed off on her?
Obviously I think that goes both ways.
Yeah.
So, you know, energy, people adopt each other's energy, and it's, you know, I guess it's the stronger force would maybe be the one that kind of, you know, where the people met in the middle, but for sure.
Yeah, and I'm with you. If I'm around a complainer all the time, I get snippy. That's an under fucking statement. You probably get one time to complain around me. The second time when you're complaining about the same shit, I'm probably giving you shit. This is true.
I didn't have the awareness for a lot of my life of that, of the energies of negativity, of the power of thoughts. I was one of the mindless masses, perhaps. I don't know. I just, once I started learning about this stuff, about the power of the mind, about truly spirituality beyond the religiosity, and my mind.
You say once you learn about the power of the mind beyond the religiosity, then what? Where were you going with that shit? I was curious.
I believed I could change the world.
That's what I thought. I was hoping you would go with miracles could happen, everything opened up. I wanted to finish that sentence. Yeah.
Yes, brother. I am convinced. While I don't have the firsthand personal experience to point to say, look at this. This is miracle. You know, this is God's work. I don't have that. Well, I got soft miracles. A lot of things you can point to there.
Very good. Very good. I would have said it if you didn't. I would have corrected you on that. Yeah.
Oh, I've got many blessings. And to me, it is a miracle. The things that have happened, what is a miracle? It's that which is beyond rational, beyond understanding.
Yeah, I think by definition, that is what makes it a miracle. But I don't think God usually does it in what we consider poof, a miracle. I need my rent paid. Poof, you wake up and there's $1,000 on the counter. No, he gets you a gig or someone pays you the money that they owed you. You run into the right guy at the right time. Those are your miracles, and you won't see them. You don't reckon. Booker T. Washington, his autobiography, he talked about how he formed the Tuskegee Institute, and he talked about how every time bills were due, he thought he could not do it. And he like, that never changed the entire time I was headed to college and all of that shit. Some miracle happened. And he talked about how they occurred. It would be this guy, some guy who heard about him over here at the last minute, the 11th hour, somebody would always come through. I also suggest the book, Booker T. Washington was a slave. If I could tell you a little bit about him, the way he got the name Booker T. Washington, his name was Booker Taliaferro, I think, something like that. But he was, when he was in school, he heard all other kids have a middle initial. They'd be like, I'm Bob C. Wright. I'm Jane L. He didn't have a middle initial, so he made up one. He used his last name, T, and he picked Washington, probably from George Washington or some shit like that. He made that name for himself, and it stuck as a kid in school. He started off as a slave. An older slave, the way they used to do the shirts, because they didn't want to give them real materials, they used to use the corn husks, which are sharp as fuck, until you've worn the shirt for a few months, and then it gets soft. He said the biggest act of kindness to this day, as an adult, biggest act of kindness was an older slave wore his new shirt which would have been like needles as he went out there and picked cotton and shit, and let him wear his shirt that was broken in. That's how how bad the shirt was. It's a good book. Obviously, I liked it.
I bet it's powerful, man.
It is.
Not to, I mean,
I
to
agree,
go
man. Fucked.
to go from the history of the actual slave conditions to this, but it's modern day for sure. People need this. I've had to deal with that a lot. Stop whining, Jack. Stop whining.
Mind fuck. That's Sarah, right?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. I was trying to send my girl Sarah. I would love, and maybe you can do it now. I go get my girl if it's okay with Jack. It's usually a lot of people on a panel, and I'll never remember this, Sarah, but I asked a question, and it was in your wheelhouse. You was just saying some cool fucking shit, and we never got back to it. Is whatever it is you're studying or whatever it is you're doing. I would have loved to heard more about that shit. Now I don't even remember, but that's the shit, my conspiracy shit my girl talks about all the time. And, you know, she probably subbed your channel. I gave her your channel. We found your channel.
Good.
Yeah.
Sarah's got some interesting, I haven't fully, she's got some great education.
Just hear,
there she goes.
Yeah,
Love
just hearing.
conspiracies.
Just hearing her talk. Yes, right. Just hearing it. My girl is like that, man. Every morning she'd be like, yeah, you see that sunrise? That's the radium and the so-and-so. You see them chemtrails and that contrails. She got a conspiracy for every freaking thing. You see how dry the weather is? You know, the weather manipulation. See all of that shit, bro.
Well, Joe, all of that shit could be true. That's the crazy thing is we live in this realm where evil has been in charge for a long time.
Yes, and technology exists so they can pull it off better today.
Amen.
Right,
So
you know, evil. So can we.
Yes.
Right. Yes, they're right. Yes. My kid, when she was in college, I used to help her with all her homework, and she wrote a paper about the pros and cons of social media. And this would have been a long time ago. My kid's 32 years old, and this is when she was in college. So this is social media was a little different then. But we came to the same conclusion that every benefit that we can use social media for can be spun around and used against you. All they got to do is get in your phone. If you're using social media or text messages, whatever, you are making a record of every fucking thing. Right? Hey, Sarah. Hey, I wanna give me a second so I can, go tell my girl to get on Jackson so she can watch from the other room.
I was going to say with that technology is, we're in a tipping point in history. And I think that's, we're either going to prove that we're worthy of continuing on this experiment, or they're going to be like, they don't need the human slaves anymore. And then it's going to be eradicated. So we're in a big pivotal time in history.
They may need us for a while, right? Because they've built this entire shit on, they'll keep us enslaved and our kids. This entire debt system is built that we'll be enslaved to them for a long time, right? We can't pay trillions of dollars. Your kids will have to do that. So
they own all the money. They own all the debt. They don't need the people for the money and the debt. That's, it's kind of one of these fallacies that this is all profit more orientated, and what they're doing is to make more money and debt. But that's the farthest from my belief is from the truth. Is that, it's about power control and a big FU to creation that I can actually destroy, this, and people will be led to slaughter opposed to, standing up to this crazy tyranny that we're living in.
All right. Give me about 60 seconds left. I just got to run to the other end of the house.
Welcome, Sarah. Are you muted? I can't hear you. Glad we checked. This world we live in, yes, Yes, this is an area, Sarah, I don't hear you yet, but this is a topic where, please, you are absolutely welcome. You've done quite a bit of checking. This world we live in, it is corrupted and insane. Well, the corrupted systems have, through manipulations of facts and beliefs, people have been led astray. And today, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of men and women who are still being led astray, being led based on popularity or based on, assumptions and beliefs while ignoring obvious facts. Sarah? Still no. Yeah, it's got to be on your end. This self-love, though. Self-love is our key. Hey, there we go. There's another cupcake. Maybe that's the icing on the cupcake. Love is that which will overcome. Love is that force. It's beyond expression. It's beyond words. It's who we are.
Oh, I thought Sarah was gone. I'm like, damn, I done left. Sarah left.
No, she's still working out her audios.
Okay,
Trying to figure something out there.
All right, I want to tell the wife.
Hey,
you're muted if you're talking, Sarah. Or you were muted. I can't see now. Yeah, you're open. Can't hear you though, babe. You're not muted, but we can't hear you. I'll be back. I caught that. I read lips, man. I'm incredible.
yeah.
My girl isn't big on panels, but she's the one who really should be talking to this girl. I wish I could remember what she said. I'm sure it was some of the elitist aristocracy bullshit. I don't remember.
It's alive and well right now. I've been seeing some of the productions. There's YouTube is a great source. I mean, it's a tool that could be used against us very strongly, and it has in many ways, but it's also a great opportunity for us to share. And there's some truly, I believe, righteous, good-hearted people producing some facts of history that.
And even if they're not good-hearted, it's some lousy people out here that I disagree with, but I'm still grateful for their lousy.
Yeah, that they're sharing this information. Amen.
Right. I'll tell you some of those Republicans, which anybody that believes that dynamic flow, this is getting good.
Yeah.
Anybody believes that left-right dynamic already assumes that they're not too bright, but it's some really good right-wing conspiratorial lunatics that I love listening to, bro. So really crazy.
Are you talking about me?
No, kind of sort of not. No, Marjorie Taylor, I think her name is Boebert or something.
Yeah.
When they get loose, you're not gonna catch it on the main news, but when they get loose, these motherfuckers talk about spacecrafts and aliens. They believe all the shit we believe, bro. I dig it.
Yes.
Flo, what's new, man? It seemed like motherfuckers got quiet when you hopped up here. I've been just talking about you. Let's see.
I don't know. I have no idea. Just got home from work. Jack called me the icing, and then but right before that, he was saying some things that sort of sounded like, the preamble to shutting things down. I was like, "Fuck, I don't know what's going on, but I better get up there and distracted, make sure." But it's pretty early still.
It is.
Right.
It is. You're welcome and well timed.
I just took my break. I've been working all day. If Jack abandoned me, I would go whore somewhere else right now.
You're still in slut mode.
I'm in slut mode for the next hour or so.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, Joe, but where'd it go? Never mind.
Yeah.
Are you busy next Saturday, Joe?
I have no
Then-
idea what. I
You
mean,
know
I
yet?
don't
Yeah,
know what today is, right? You know,
that's an evasive answer, Joe. We're going to need a firm commitment to whether or
What
not you're
day
busy
is this?
before
I
you
gotta
know why
check.
he's asking. You can't know why
Yeah.
he's asking until you say if you're busy or not.
listen,
True.
if I'm available, I will absolutely help you in whatever endeavor you're trying to do. But again, I don't keep up with the days.
Is that a yellow shirt right there?
And me, dude.
High vis. Jesse's rocking high vis. Sorry,
Oh,
you guys must not have got the memo.
no,
The yellow
Jesse-
shirt. No.
we were all supposed to wear fucking yellow shirts.
Joe, and what you were saying about the ones that are still in that left-right narrative,
Yeah,
the same applies that they're still in the white-black narrative.
agreed.
It's all
I assume
about
they're idiots.
division.
Yes. I assume
Who
they're
here
not-
do you think is most involved in the white black narrative?
I would think I am the most vocal and you are the most blind.
Fair, fair enough. More blind than Jesse. He's Canadian.
You know, I haven't, went there with Jesse with the racial shit yet. I don't know. But I'm hard on motherfuckers because I don't know. I'm an intellectual fuck, and I grew up in Chicago. It's been really segregated all my life. I know I have a slanted view on shit. When you leave your neighborhood, you gotta, like, even as kids, your parents be like, they gotta hold your hand. Oh, this is Rogers Park, or this is so and so, where the blacks and white gotta fight each other. It's dumb shit.
Yeah, I was mostly just giving you shit.
Yeah, I'm insane. But I'm admitting that no way I grew up where I did, and I'm not fucked up about the race shit. You know, the first in the teens years, I was taught that white folks only come around when they need the poverty pimp or get something out of you. And, until I got old enough to learn shit for myself. Yeah, surely that imprinting is in there somewhere.
Hey, the reason I asked about your availability Saturday,
Oh yeah.
Colorado Springs.
I'll be there. I don't give a fuck what you got going on. I'll be there. I'm only like an hour and a half from there.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if it was even worth discussing. If you got plans, and it's
I
not-
love Colorado Springs. I've probably been there 4 times in the last 4 weeks or something. I love Colorado Springs. I go there a lot. And when you pass it every time you go to Denver, and I always got business in Colorado Springs. I always got business in Denver.
This is Suspicious Observers channel. There's a guy who runs this, Ben Davidson. He's doing a meet and greet on. He's doing kind of an informal meet and greet in Colorado Springs. If I thought it was logistically possible, I'd love to be there.
Well,
The reason.
I'll
Here,
go
the reason
represent
is-
and explain to him that we need to end wars. I'll go tell him that, I'll be your your emissary.
Well,
Go ahead.
this guy he pays attention to all of the science research papers that are coming out, and
Yeah.
particularly
What's he got here? What's he showing here? I see son.
the sun.
I think I know where he's gonna go. I hope I know where he's gonna go.
He does daily observations on what the solar energies are doing, what flares,
Yeah.
what.
All right, let's see it. Let it rock. Let's see if he's bright.
Here, yeah, you know what? It's not long. He does these daily.
All right.
Good morning, folks. We've got space weather, earthquake news, tropical storms, and 3 excellent papers as the time to accelerate exodus from major cities may be at hand, and we start with the last 24 hours on our star. Limb eruptions continue, and the coronal hole turns through center disk. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday when its amplified solar wind arrives. Expect at least minor geomagnetic activity and a continued watch for the active regions and plasma filaments. The solar wind is expected to remain quiet today. Let's move on next to seismicity, where those 2 big quakes in Afghanistan were devastating. Over 2,000 people reported dead with entire villages destroyed. Utterly brutal photos if you care to check them out online today. Bit of an update on the twin tropical systems off the Mexican coastline. One is now expected to accelerate to landfall later today. That would be Storm Max. while Storm Lydia is still slated to make impact tomorrow. Hopefully everyone nearby is prepared and the storms take a bit of mercy on them. Up first in the articles today, we find an excellent study on how magnetic sense in animals is still profoundly lacking in full understanding. This hits the topic of ultrasensitivity not being completely charted out, and also the vulnerability of several key aspects of the food chain to Earth's currently shifting magnetic field. Up next is an excellent one on ferric iron inclusions on the moon, found almost exclusively in the glass beads. The paper presumes impact or genesis, but can't explain several key features or observations, and as we've said before, that's because it's not from meteorites, it's from solar blasts. Remember, pretty much every significant way we view the sun by satellite is looking at ionized iron in the corona. That is what gets blasted away. Last but not least is a good article on the survival of creatures during major extinction events. Turns out that perhaps what scientists had previously believed is not the case at all. We've got the specialized and advanced species with enhanced survival probabilities. Golf clap for that one. We're less than 1 week away from our next Observer event. Come see the Big Burb and chat with Rocky and me. Tickets found at the link below, and we'd love to see you out there.
Oh
Greatly
no, I'm not
appreciate your
paying you.
support.
Nigga,
We'll
I don't
do
even know you. It's hard to hate on that guy. It was pretty good. I liked everything he said. But nah, Nickel, I'm not paying on you on Bob's Burger. Ticket my nuts, man.
Joe,
Yeah.
Joe, if there's willingness, I would be willing to compensate costs and even mileage, brother.
Listen, I'm going anyway, but I'm not paying. I'll meet him outside of Bob's, man. I'm standing on GP. I'm not fucking paying you, man.
Man, Colorado Springs is only like 12 hours away from me. If you're paying mileage and shit at the IRS reimbursement rate, room, like
right.
Well, you could stay at Jack's, so it's just talking about gas, and I'm sure everybody could maybe chip in a little bit to make sure. That would be amazing if Flo, you go meet Jack. I would chip in $20 for gas for sure.
I don't think Jack's going. Jack was talking about me going. I don't think Jack's going.
Oh, he wants you to go?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was going to meet you there.
I did too.
No.
What?
Oh, okay,
Jack,
well,
this
I
could
was
be the
in
beginning.
$20.
Yeah, this could be the beginning of you living your, moving into your Mitch lifestyle. Nomad cot.
Okay, I switched to my webcam.
Very good. We can hear you.
I don't know what's going on with my mic, so.
All right. I don't know how much leeway we're gonna get with some conspiratorial shit. Go ahead.
So Jack, why did you want Joe to go to that? Or were you just sharing the information? Or are you sending him on like a mission? Are you you're sending him on a mission? I applaud your ambition and your expansive outlook on life, the way that you take over territory. Good for you. Carpe that diem.
Carpe that
diem. There's many people who are very awake and aware about different aspects of our world today. Ben Davidson has the aspect of watching the science, and he has connections to a lot of professors and scientists, from what it sounds like. And I tried talking to him before. I have introduced myself to him in the past. I've introduced myself to a lot of people.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong about that ticket shit. Is this guy famous, popular? He got a book or something I should know about? I thought it was just like fucking Jesse charging me to go see him.
He's published a couple of books. I've got a couple of his books. It's all science related stuff. But
science.
The things he focuses on is the cycles of catastrophism. And he presents a lot of evidence and suggestion that we are at a point of history, about a 12,000 year cycle, where there's signs that there's changes in the magnetic frequencies that are coming through into this solar system. And he's recognized the patterns of changes in other planets and other stars, not just him, but he presents these findings.
I love this. Yeah, I need to watch him.
He also presents how the CIA has known about the cycles of catastrophe, as well as, I don't know if he's aware, but the CIA has known for a long time the methods of the mind and the way mind control is used. Anyway, I know that connections and relationships are how we're going to unite these different groups that are exposing different things. So
synchronicity, signs, and symbol. I was just looking up something on cyclic catastrophes and shit. It'd be really interesting if it was the same dude.
I'd like to pose a question to you all about that. So do you think that these catastrophes and the signs of these things are happening is an indicative of the way the human population, the human race is acting, and, you know, kind of their energy that they're putting towards? And can that be changed by the human manifestation if we actually came together in a love vibrational frequency, that we could change some of these scientific, you know, happenings, what they're trying to predict is going to happen?
I'm setting up. I want to influence Sarah.
that is my belief.
Angela had a great idea that we should all learn to knit so that we can make blankets while we're talking on here.
Sorry, did I say I wanted to listen?
I was distracted. And before that, I was thinking about, like, I was still wondering what it is that Jack would get out of sending Joe. Although I was also thinking, I do agree, Joe is definitely a people's person, probably the best one around here, and he would be fantastic to send if you're trying to cupcake, you know.
But I understand where you're coming from. I dig it. All right, we're gonna stick with flow for a while. Jack, how fucking far are you, man? Hop on a fucking train or something, bro.
I didn't think about a train. It could be, but it would be at least a day's travel for sure for me.
All right, you're in Washington, right? I think. Yeah. That sucks. I haven't been to Washington. I've been all over this fucking country. Washington's just fucking far for. I'm about to diss Washington. I'm not gonna do it.
Hey,
Okay,
the reason I thought,
who was the guy that you were talking about? Because I was restarting my computer.
Yeah. What was the guy's name?
it was Ben Davidson from Suspicious Observers.
Okay.
Here, I'll drop it up.
Was he reading the CIA document Adam and Eve? Okay, I have a copy.
He has
like that.
He has in the past.
You have a what? Yeah.
I have a copy of that document.
Good. Good.
Of what document? I'm still on this blanket thing.
It's called Adam and Eve, the Adam and Eve story or something like that. It's under the CIA's database. It's talking about the cycles of whatever, but
Yeah. You can whenever you get a chance, just lob that in my email box. Thank you.
okay. But I have a slightly different theory as to what's going on.
Let's see it.
For the last time that we had it, which, you know, that's what we're calling the deluge. That's the flood of Gilgamesh and Noah and Atlantis. That's time period. And Jesse pointed on a little bit on people and the frequencies that's happening. So the last time, okay, the 144,000 have lost 6 times, and every time they lose, God still wins, and he wins by destroying whatever the fuck's on the planet for the most part and starting over again.
Okay, wait. So you're saying that
144,000 lose, which is balancing out all of the evil, the poles shift, and it completely fucks up the earth, and it restarts basically.
Wait, are you saying 144,000 they talk about in the Bible? They're losing repeatedly, kind of like in the Matrix. Neo loses and it's rebuilt. All right.
People like the darkness more than the light. We keep losing.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do they like the darkness more than the light, or are they just pussies to the darkness, so they just adhere to it?
Both. Do we have a response to what I said, or just?
Oh no, my girl walked in and she's listening.
I mean, there's too many ends of that story, right? Like, how did you get at the numbers? How did you construct this whole theory? But that's a huge question, right? So, no. I guess that's my long way of saying no response, because I'm not sure where to start on it.
Here, I'll delve. If I thought you had more story to tell. But that's interesting as fuck. We can stop there for a minute. If you cats, if I'm understanding you right, if you cats not familiar with the story, 144,000 were snatched up during the rapture. And these were the untouched. These were the really divine, or whatever you want to call them. I think what Sarah is proposing here is that the story happened differently. The 144 didn't accomplish their goal or whatever, and it keeps resetting through these dramatic natural disasters.
Mhm.
It's interesting. All right,
Why
how
do you think that it's
cyclic is
happened
this?
before? And we've lost. That's
What was
And
that
I'm
question?
not. Why do you think that it's happened before? And I want to know about. I'm not sure it's cyclic. I haven't looked into the dates. I don't know if they keep coming back around at a certain time or not. And why do you think that 144,000 got a role to do with it at all? Where'd you come with the theory?
Well, 144,000 is not 144,000 people. It's a concept of people that have reached righteousness.
Okay.
But
Frequency.
the people
then
that
why
are
would they call it 144,000?
that
They-
because it's numerology. Okay, so 1 + 4 + 4 is 9. 9 means completion. But completion of a man can be a wicked man or a righteous man, which is why you have the 33rd degree Masons. They are wicked as fuck and they have completed their journey and they will not come back. Whereas those that reach the 144,000, which in the Bible it says that there are a multitude of people that come with the 144,000. These are all the people that go through the spiritual awakening process, that reach completion and become righteous. Like Noah was considered a righteous man. So he was saved. He was given, heads up, hey, we're going to flood the fucking earth. Build yourself an ark. Okay? That type of thing.
What? Go ahead.
So the ones that are called or titled the 144,000 are sacrifices. So every time you have a harvest, the first tenth, the tithing of it is supposed to be offered up to God. Okay, and they're burned on altars as a sacrifice.
That's the
Those
144.
that are titled the 144,000 are the first fruits, and they are offered up as sacrifices for humanity.
All
During
right.
Jesus' time period, he was part of the 144,000 during that time period, and he was
Interesting.
sacrificed for humanity's sake. It is predetermined. Their lives are completely set up and structured for them to be sacrificed.
Isn't it convenient? Sorry, go ahead. I'll wait.
No, that's okay. That was the end of my sentence.
Oh, well, my observation is kind of tangential. It can wait if you're like in a flow of things. Isn't it convenient how like the tithing, the priest want an animal and you got to cook it?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was just an observation. Like, get the fuck out of
Gotta-
here, bro. If somebody's like, "Hey, for God, you got to give me one of your cows and burn it, but not too much, like medium rare," I'd be like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
that was supposed to be for the tribe of oh shit, who's the priest tribe? Levi.
Judah.
The tribe of Levi. They're the ones that are in the center that basically protect the Ark of the Covenant. And they don't own land. So all the other tribes own land and they provide the food for Levi because they don't own anything. So the 10% goes offered up to God.
Gandhi had a story like that. They told him to stop. He was a lawyer. They told him to stop being a lawyer, and they gonna take care of his needs. And he had something to do. Yeah, Gandhi had a similar story.
What Sterling was saying is basically the same thing. It's just saying it differently. That's you reaching righteousness. It's I think they call it a rainbow body in some places, but your body is being transmuted. You're turning from a carbon body into a crystalline body to reach a rainbow body. But you're going through all of this undertaking of alchemy that's happening within, and you're reaching righteousness.
Is that the
It's
whole
like in
5D that everybody's ascending to 5D now, to sending their body into that crystalline consciousness?
Yeah.
this is our time to do it. It is. It's our lifetime to rise above the duality, to become the greater expression of that which may be. And that which may be, in my perspective, is divine. I believe God exists, God is, and we have the ability to play a part in what is in the unfolding of the future.
I feel like you were trying to pick your words very carefully there so that you didn't sound too much exactly like Lucifer.
No, I allowed my mind to drift. I'm taking a chance. Welcome, MGTOW Forever.
Hey, I'm a friend of Snaps
Oh
and
shit!
a few others. But no. I'm not like Snaps. I'm like, me and Snaps are like yin and yang, where I'm like the calm one, reasonable one. No, he makes all the good points, but no, I'm not. I'm not like him.
What do you think about the conversation, man? What you've been hearing?
Last like 2-3 minutes, I haven't been listening. I had to walk away from the TV because I have you guys on the TV. But what was it you guys were talking about?
Actually, it's a bit hard to fucking
Well,
give us.
We don't know how to explain it or how to. Yeah.
Well, it's been on the topic of symbolism and some of the expressions of what the 144,000 may mean. Some of the
cyclic,
patterns.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I did. I've watched some videos like years ago, like probably 3-4 years ago, about that. I don't know if Sarah knows who Naughty Beaver is or Cosmic Agency, but yeah, a lot of people I used to watch.
Say that again. It sounded like gibberish.
Oh, Naughty Beaver and Cosmic Agency. They talk about some of that stuff, like the 144,000.
Would you
I
mind
never really got much
spelling
into it.
those names in one of the chats? Because I have no idea how to spell those.
I think Cosmic Beaver was one.
Well, Cosmic Agency and then Naughty Beaver. They talked about that stuff. I never really got too much into it.
Naughty Beaver might be risky looking up.
I know, right? You got to stick to YouTube with that one.
Today's realm, use caution.
Well, it was when he was on YouTube and then his channel got banned.
Oh, gotcha.
Like I said, that was like 3-4 years ago. It was never a topic that like attracted me to like, oh, I wanted to like do more research and figure it out, and it really appealed to me. But I've heard about it.
How often do these natural disasters occur, Sarah, or anyone else who believes the theory? Noah would have been thousands of years ago. If I got to guess, I don't know, 3,000 years or some crazy shit.
I don't know how frequently it occurs. They do give you somewhat of a time period. I'm trying to remember.
Can you think of any other of the catastrophes? Maybe we could figure it out ourselves.
I can't remember if it's 6,000 or 12,000. It's somewhere around there.
That's what the stuff Suspicious Observers points out is 1,500-year cycles, but it's compounded at like 3,000, 6,000, and the 12,000 is like the greatest.
Interesting.
The greatest, as I understand it, but it makes sense too. 12,000 years ago, we've discovered Göbekli Tepe, which is, evidence of civilization prior to that. Then they're finding the evidence of water around the Sphinx, around the pyramids. There's signs of great wonders from the past.
How long is a whole zodiac procession?
I think that's the 26,800-year cycle.
Holy fuck.
I think, but I could be mistaken. There's so many cycles I've heard of in these. I mean, from the day to the week to the year to the court. There's centurions. There's so many ways.
To Jack and Paul's cupcake and then Rage relationship.
That's another way of keeping track of time.
Did
What were you saying, Sarah?
Going into an ice age?
Oh, I was just saying
What's
that none of them are actually accurate on the time. They're all just a guesstimate time period. Like
There
Yeah,
they
I'm
think all
okay
of
with
the
that.
ages are 100% the equal measurements when all the signs in the sky are different size, yet the time period they're calculating as the same, like 30 degrees or whatever. So it doesn't even make logical sense. It's just for easy math.
My point, and I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, NJ. I believe there is quite a bit of rhyme and reason to the arguments of pole reversals, but I encourage everyone should do their own research. What I'm of the faith, though, is many of these mysteries could be revealed when people in positions of authority stop fucking lying.
Why the fuck would that ever occur? Why would that occur? It'll never happen then. These mysteries will never be revealed. That's how they get paid.
Well, this is the whole point. Humans don't have to survive for money. Humans can survive and thrive with wisdom, with care for one another, for the gift of life. If we start sharing the gift of life with each other, we're going to stop allowing governments and corporations to take over communities and entire nations.
If we share the gift of life.
It's
gift of life.
It tastes good too. It tastes good. It's warm. That's all you need.
That's what she said.
No, the gift of life.
Nicely done.
It's education. It's the nourishment of education and love. That's what the Christ offered.
That's not fucking nourishment, Jack.
Flo,
I'm gonna kill you.
think about how illogical that conclusion was. I know it's in fun, but knowledge is the nourishment that allows humanity to evolve. Knowledge is the treasure we're here to gather. It's the money system, dude.
This
It's convinced people.
You just can't not do it.
Uh-oh. What do you got, Flo?
It's the pride triangle.
Okay,
the pride triangle.
No, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Self-actualization.
And you don't move up to what I guess the ones that you were describing, love and cupcaking, would be the green level, belongingness and love. But nobody cares about belongingness if they're unsafe or if they don't have food, water, air, things like that. So,
oh my goodness, I see where this is going. All right, so first you got to take care of your physiological needs, your food, water, warmth. Then you can thank you for whatever. All right, then you can elevate. Damn it, Jack. Then you can elevate to your safety needs. After you got shelter and stuff, you worry about yourself, your safety. Once you got that done, then you can indulge in things like love and relationships and things like that. Once you have those things accomplished, you have to build your esteem, prestige, feelings of accomplishment. Only after all those things are accomplished can you even start to begin self-actualization, which is achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Interesting.
Something that I say, I guess not a lot, but fairly regularly, relatively, is that pisses people off is that morality is a luxury.
I'd immediately know where you're going with that shit. I mean, that one would be in the obvious.
But basic needs need to be met for everyone, and if we're in a monetary system that deprives people of basic needs, then the whole system is flawed.
Great observation.
And probably what I'm doing is not necessarily disagreeing with Jack's point so much as his semantics.
Well, but please don't disagree, because try to understand, because I acknowledge this, but here, bring this into individual day-to-day practice. this is the prayer that Jesus taught, give us our daily bread. If I have food, water, warmth, and rest available to me today, then I should have no fear. And then from there, I should feel safety. I can provide safety to the women, children around me. And then through that, I feel that belongingness and love, but it's a psychological awareness. How much do we think we need? The society has brainwashed people into conditioning themselves with systematic lack. They live with illusions of lack. Therefore, they go get a job.
If that were true, we would not see lack in nature, yet we do.
I disagree.
Lack because people have excess.
You disagree because you don't pay attention to like the animals that die and starve in winter, the squirrels that didn't bury nuts. Like it happens.
Flo,
what?
I disagree because I'm encouraging everyone to use the gift of consciousness to rise above the beastly patterns. You're right. We can be savages like the wolves and the chimpanzees, whatever. We can be beasts. It's obvious. We can rise above.
We are in some degree.
Or flow where they are still being moral. Like if your family is truly starving and they have to go steal food, do you really think God is going to punish them for not paying for that? That's a human law and rule. That's not a moral law. They're still being moral. They're still providing.
I mean, I would agree with you. I agree, actually. So
I think
but I didn't want to say you are correct, but saying morality is subjective gives off an entirely different thing than I was trying to communicate, because I don't believe that morality is subjective really, like culturally, right? I don't think it's subjective to the individual. I think it might be subjective to the circumstance.
Agreed.
See, and that's, I think maybe in this distinction is where I see from my own experience. I had abundance, I had safety, I had comfort around me physically, but in my mind, I grew up with this poverty mindset where I was always in a place of lack. And since I'm in a place of lack, my worth isn't that great. I'm going to take the job that's given to me. And, and then I brainwash myself like others. My duty is to be a responsible employee and, make sure fair days work for fair days pay. I make sure and give before as I earn. It's all brainwashing. I mean, it's a partial truth, but we've been deceived.
If we bring it up to now, because I don't know about your past, I'll take your word for those things. Right now, I see indications that you would be at, well, the thing's gone now, the level, the esteem shit. You judge yourself too harshly. It's right now I'm thinking, how the fuck can he be at that level of self-actualization when he still let motherfuckers tell him, he's worthless and he's not this, and it's sinking in.
I don't think it sinks in too much.
I think it's quite similar to the chakra system. It's even close to the colors.
That
you have
too.
To work bottom up. So
that too. Those clearly identify with the I look at the energy, the chakras, these energy centers. Those are different archetypes. They're different personalities of seeing, and the lower base ones are your grounding. How secure and comfortable, safe do you feel?
Your basic needs.
Basic needs.
I don't know anything about chakras. I don't even know how many they are. How many are there?
I believe 6.
There's a shit ton, but most of them, most people know about the main 7.
Seven
so
is
there's actually 2 hearts. There's a lower and an upper heart chakra. So there's really 8.
I think my man said 26.
There's I think there's 1,000 of them. There's a whole shit ton of them. They're all over the place. It's just the main 7 that most people are aware of.
All right. It's logical. I mean,
Is there
it's
a penis
feasible.
chakra? There has to be if there's 1,000.
What chakra?
A penis chakra.
I mean,
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna get to that point where, yeah, there's gonna be a chakra down there too.
they're all over. They're just energy centers.
I probably have more penis chakras than most of the dudes on this panel.
I'm so trying to keep quiet on that one, bro.
I got the bigger
passed up
chakra
about-
down there.
Ah, yeah, I'm gonna drag me in.
There
Big
is something to these chakras. I mean, at least the practice of the thoughts. What early in my, it wasn't early in my sobriety, but it was early in my development, trying to understand spirituality more. I learned of and was practicing some Kundalini yoga.
Yeah.
Different breathing techniques, different movement techniques, and it's really I felt differences after performing the exercises and the patterns, the breathing through the day. I noticed the difference in me, more secure, less uptight and anxious.
Sarah, are they poor? I'm sorry, I don't mean be dismissive of what you said. Are they poisoning us, Sarah?
They've been poisoning you forever.
In what ways?
In your food, in your water, in your mind, in your education, in your medicine. They are poisoning you in every way, literally and metaphorically.
Are they causing any of these disasters, droughts, or anything that might appear natural? In what way?
Weather manipulation. Yeah,
They
you
did that in
mentioned it
Vietnam.
earlier. I was like, hell yeah, they've been doing that shit forever.
They've been doing it since Vietnam. Weather manipulation.
They've been
Weather
doing it a
control.
lot longer than that.
Yeah, I think the 50s is the earliest also.
They have
Well, that
been
was
manipulating
Vietnam
it
was
for
when
a
they
very
started
long
using.
Yes, they did. They dropped the metallic bullshit in Vietnam and something they were supposed to attach to the cloud droplets or something. I forgot. They still do that shit nowadays too. What's
Cloud
this shit they
seeding.
drop on the cloud? That aluminum oxide or something? Some shit they still doing to.
The amount of money.
My girl say lithium. They put lithium in the sky. So she said.
It's the amount of money that taxpayers have invested and corporations have invested for these various forms of warfare. Climate warfare used state-sponsored back in Vietnam, and I don't know when this stuff started getting disclosed, but it has been happening for a long time. And recently I saw some information about some of the state-sponsored cyber war that's going on. Guys, this world we're living in is out of control. What is that, Jesse? What are you showing?
That's my case. There's an EMP blast. I got a 1985 convertible Mustang. I'm here sitting in the garage that won't be fried with the electronics, so it's all gassed up, ready to go just in case the electronics go out. I got my little car that I'll be able to zoom, so I just thought since I'm here in my storage, I just wanted to show you guys. It's in mint condition, so it's one of those like cars that keeps appreciating in value, the longer I keep it. So
Remember
There better
to
be a
drive
V8
it
in
every
there.
once in a while and change the oil.
Yeah, it's a Mustang.
Sit there for 20 years and never fucking use it.
Yeah, drive that bitch. It's a Mustang. Your seals
Please
and
tell me it's
shit.
a V8. It has to be V8.
It better be a V8 if he's not. Otherwise, he ain't got no business bragging.
Exactly.
Hey,
Because I have a Mustang too, except it's 09, where it would not survive an EMP. You're gonna get a muscle car, you better get a freaking V8.
My 4-cylinder Sonata beat my buddy's Charger. He was pissed
Ah,
How did that happen?
it did
because
not.
it's like made out of fiberglass. It's such a light car.
It's so light.
Yeah.
He put water in his gas tank. Still, the Charger's supposed to beat that thing in reverse.
Hey, that another part of that event next Saturday in Colorado Springs. Ben Davison worked with another guy who's really into automotive, and he built like a post-apocalyptic suburb took and converted it so it's in case of an EMP, doesn't need the battery.
He's gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
gonna be
think so.
multiple cats there. I need to text you. You need to tell me I need to research these cats.
If it's a possibility, I'd encourage it. What I think, this guy.
Listen. It's more than a possibility. It's the likelihood, right? We have to.
Did you mean suburban?
That's what he said.
Oh, I thought he said He said suburb.
Oh,
I meant suburban.
Okay.
If I did, but
yeah, no, sorry.
I was pitching an entire suburb that was built to survive. That's why I wanted to research this guy. I did not know he meant the fucking car. Okay.
Hey, Joe. So one of the benefits I can see, this guy knows the science. He knows a lot of the people, perhaps in different areas of government. I don't know that he knows all the ins and outs about, like you do, about the way the the police and the governments have been used. He knows he's clear that he's not part of the two-party stuff. And,
he might be the first step towards the UN.
It's possible. He knows
so
people
cool. On behalf of Talcottia.
Slow had to take it there, bro.
Hey,
I just love seeing Jack's secret ambition. I don't even think that he likes admitting he has it. I love it. I think it's a great character trait.
But how? I don't know, man. It's funny to me, and Jack, you won't like this, but the way you plan to achieve the goal is the funniest parts about it. It is, bro. You got these goals.
By leveraging other people to help him.
Yes. Not leveraging, inviting. I'm inviting others. We can play a part of making history, truly transforming the future of history. We can do this if we find the right people, the right ideas at the right time.
He's just going to batter us with this repeat inspiration, right?
Inspirational optimism. Go get them, guys.
Until we're all too inspired to think our own thoughts.
We're probably going to have the UN of Talcottia here soon if you guys have been paying attention to what's actually happening in the theatrical political world stage show right now. Sleeper cells.
No, you'll be in the camp
activating.
with the rest of the dissidents. Snaps.
I don't know. I'm serious. I talked to whistleblowers and some combat veterans today. In fact, we're going to have one on my channel tonight. Real things are going on right now as we speak. In fact, Trump Jr. just tweeted every American should have an AR. There's reasons why Biden said
he's not
the wall is going to continue. I'm telling you right now, the Red Dawn optics happened. Did you hear about them paragliding into that music festival? We got the footage, and then 8 Americans were killed. Let's not forget that. Joe Biden went in and said, hey, I'm not going to pressers. I'm not doing shit. We're not doing shit. The prime minister said, hey, we're going to go into Gaza. We know where that leads with China. The fact is, though, is in New York City, Chicago, Texas, all these riots are ramping up again for the days. But now we're witnessing it in London right now, downtown London. And where else? Australia, the Orchestra House in Australia. The sleeper cells are activating. The optics of what we've been saying hitting mainland are probably coming very, very soon. So Talcott, you'll have your own UN probably, the Talcottia of UN, which you could start. Because I think Americans are about to learn here very soon. Things are about to change on a grand scale, like 9/11 event. And I'm not trying to be doom gloom. I'm just saying this is a chance, Talcott, for you to step up to and others. Because if you really look at the world stage, the sleeper cells are activating. And I'm telling you right now, it's way more. Like I'm thinking within the next 2 weeks, but 48 hours from the whistleblowers I'm talking to, and people I'm talking, they said the next 48 hours are very crucial right now. That's why the president's gone off grid.
What should we do?
Just to be prepared, dude. What are you gonna if you don't have it in your mindset flow, you always say, what should we do? What should we do? But you should know more than anyone that there's so many fucking people out there who have no clue about this shit, dude. At least everyone on this panel has the sense of understand, but a lot of viewers don't. A lot of people don't. And so when shit does go down, like grid, for instance, or food supplies you just were talking about, which has been being poisoned, all this other stuff. The fact is this is a theatrical show, yes, blah, blah. but it impacts countries, lives, and everything else. Just like Jack wants to help change. My whole thing is the sleeper cells are activating. That's 100% true. And you guys need to realize there's reasons why the wall, all of a sudden now they're like, we're going to continue building the wall. There's reasons why, because if mainland has some certain things go down, they got to bottle it up, so to speak. Again, sleeper cells are activated. I'll go
You
that far.
repeated that so many times, Snafu. Thank you.
Right. And you guys should be saying a lot more instead of talking about this, that, blah, blah, because what's about
Should
to
we
happen
keep
in this
repeating
world,
it?
a lot of you guys are ignoring.
The sleeper
And
cells
that's-
are waking up. Hey, the sleeper cells are waking up. Hey, the sleeper cells are waking up all over
Oh
the
my
place.
God, Jack!
Hey, the sleeper
Why
cells
didn't
are
somebody
waking
say
up.
something already?
Fuck
That
okay.
14th time.
It sounds like he's afraid. It sounds like he's in fear.
He always sounds like that. He's been sounding like that for like 2 years. I've known him, and it's always something. It normally is pedo pogos or you know.
You know what? My reaction was unkind.
Yes, it was, Jack. Bring
It was.
Snafu back up.
He chose to leave. This is not helpful, though. This behavior, and Snafu, I love you, my friend, but you just provided us an example. Okay, people running around sharing the latest news. Oh my God, you should be afraid like me. And then you ask the question that should be asked. So what do you say we do? No answer, just more. You should know.
Oh, me and him we've had this conversation so many times between me and Snaps. Like we both have each other's numbers for years now. Me and him have personal conversations all the time. We talk about this stuff all
So what do you
the
think?
time.
Is his 2-day prediction gonna come true?
Fair question.
Normally no, but this time
It will not. Will the
There's
other
gonna be a
prediction
psyop
come
that-
true that something happens in the future? Of course it will.
So
Well,
is
that
this
was
what-
cheap.
there's a lot of channels that do fear porn stuff where they're always making
Those-
people worry. But
Agreed.
like this time, if I had like he is right, but he's also wrong. But this time they're going to do a style because a lot of Americans don't want to go to the war to defend Israel because we just went through Ukraine and we wasted all that money. And then Maui, all the people complain about money going to Ukraine, not Maui. But they're going to have to do something like 9/11 or Pearl Harbor where they let it happen to make the people angry, where people actually they go from, oh, it's not our problem, not our continent, not our country, not our war. They're going to do something to anger Americans where they want to be a part of it, like 9/11.
Israel ain't it, because we could give a fuck. I think, I don't know if most Americans, most people I know think Israel are a bunch of bullies and treat the Palestinians like shit.
I agree. I'm one of them.
But it's the whole thing is that everybody's going on biblical prophecy. So whether they're making that prophecy come true or this is actually prophesized, all the countries around there are going to turn on Israel, and then it's going to be the great divide where this war actually takes place. And this may be the beginning of it. And why Snafu was saying, like, you know, be prepared just in case this is the time where the whole world is going to go change because this biblical prophecy, whether manifested or really prophesized.
Here's not to bring this.
Prophecies haven't been coming true for a while. That's why I take it into consideration, but I don't like put all my eggs in one basket on prophecies.
Well, here's the way I see the way I see the prophecies is just signs to watch for. There is enough signs to watch for. There's enough prophetic signs of this is a time. And you know what? Regardless of what's prophesized, the way I see it is there's enough signs in this world. It's time for change. And if I can be a part of bringing the change, well, I believe that's what God may want us to do. And the reality is I believe, I know people who I think could help us. I mean, if there's an us, if it's not just me, I think there's people who could help us speak to the people in the United States government responsible for directing all the funding to the wars. And I think if we speak to those citizens in government as people, we can communicate clearly our expectations of changes for the future.
Zach, as long as we're talking about repeating shit. Yeah.
Joe, have you been tired of being on panel?
Apparently. That's why I'm smoking this. In my head, I was much rougher.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
The reason you might hear me repeating this same thing is these opportunities have never been explored by anyone but me. I've been seeking a witness. I've been seeking someone to investigate
What opportunity?
with me.
What opportunity?
The
Talking to
connections,
someone in the UN?
the connections that I see. I know people who, if they get past their fucking opinions
I'd
of
love
me,
to know what the question was. What is it that have only been experienced by you, these avenues, however you put it? What is it that's only been tried by you?
the path that I see from my position as a man here on earth to get these ideas into the mainstream media, into the thoughts and minds of those people in government. I don't, Joe.
You know, I don't understand. I know that you don't believe you're the first person who ever tried to talk to someone powerful.
I know.
All right,
I know.
so I'm not sure I understand. I don't mean to push you. You don't have to explain it.
I personally wouldn't bother talking to those people you want to talk to at the
I
UN. Not because what you have to say isn't important, but because they don't give a shit about what you have to say.
Yep. You've met them. You've talked to them. You know each one of them personally. And so you know there's not an exception to any of those. But hey, Sarah,
but most of them are not going to do anything.
I know. And the world will never change as long as we continue to think we can't do anything.
I'm not saying about change. I'm saying you should put your efforts somewhere else. It'll be more effective.
Somewhere else. You're right. I should talk to people willing to entertain what I'm offering instead of continuing to open my time for people who want to disagree and offer disbelief and doubt. When all I'm suggesting is there is avenues we can try, and all it requires is a little bit of faith and trust. So
you're gonna have to fire one down, Flo. You're gonna have to fire one up. I'll tell you when it's about to go.
Joe, I want to offer back what you said too. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one who has tried to communicate different ideas to different people. I realize that.
Right.
What I also know is that there's many other people, greater platforms than this, than mine here on YouTube and other places. There's many people who actually think the way that I do, that maybe we can do something, but I haven't heard them talk about these ideas, and I haven't heard these ideas discussed with them. So I'd like to talk to other people who believe the world can change.
Yeah.
And then we can work together on the ways that it can instead of continually offering why it can't.
Well,
yeah. Wasn't that the slogan line for Obama? His first year was change.
Change.
What kind of change, though? He never said what kind of change. Even as a teenager in high school, I asked myself, I'm like, he says he's going to change the country. What kind of change? And obviously it was not good.
Maybe I'm confused and don't know fully what you want to address with them, because world peace by coming together is not a new concept. So I'm trying to understand what it is you're going to bring that's new that they haven't heard. So I must be missing something. What don't
everybody goes through this phase, Sarah?
What you're missing is the blind spot. The blind spot, I'm confident, is you assume to know what they've heard. You assume to know what others have learned and already know within them. I don't make those assumptions. I allow God to reveal the path, reveal the future. These ideas have been within me for a long time. I've not given up on the fact that I know people who have caused me injuries and injustice in my path of life, my own economic and financial survival. So I'm pursuing not only my own selfish goals of justice, but as I said, I believe God has allowed all of this to happen for me and us. I'm inviting anyone who wants to be a part of us, meaning with me,
Yeah.
to please reach out.
All right. Let's be honest. This is what it is. And this is where I get booted and Flo gonna have to start up a fucking stream. It is not that you want us to work together. We've offered that. You want to control us to do for you to accomplish your goal. You haven't asked me. Yes, you haven't asked me how you can help accomplish my goal. You have a idea in your head. What we must do in order to be trying to end wars. It's reliant upon what you say.
So if you're going to look at it like that, yep, you're going to continue to be resistant, but you could see it a different way. The way I see it. I see it as, and I've been very open and tried to explain this as clearly as possible. Okay. I believe there's something a little mysterious, a little unexplained that's been happening in my life. In my life, I came to believe that there is a path for me as a man to follow for the purpose of trying to offer my support in some way to help negotiate peace in some fashion.
That's everybody's fucking goal. I'm sorry to curse.
Is it?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's everybody's goal is peace. So
is it?
Please,
I haven't seen it offered to me very often.
You said your goal, like you're separate. I've seen in my life the path that we should have peace. You're not distinct from other people. It's the same way you start off your last statement. Not distinct. Why would we assume that this is you want us to just take your word? It's not really a thing.
No, take it or leave it.
Take
it or leave it. But if you're gonna not take my word, if you want to continue your distrust and false narratives,
my ass, I disagree with you. It's not distrust and false narrative. I disagree with you. How many people have you got in their ear? Let's answer this. How many people on these panels have you gotten their ear and changed their minds? But we're supposed to believe you're going to get in front of that guy at that moment and pull it off. We're not supposed to believe it, you know?
No, Joe, this is what you're missing. You're absolutely right. It starts with those in front of me.
Yes.
Each day I start this stream and I wonder who might come in front of me today, because in my real life, my efforts, well, they've been failing. So since I don't get people in front of me in my real life, I come present myself here and I present. You're right, Joe. I can't change anyone's mind. What I don't understand is what words to offer so that people might see themselves not obeying me. That's certainly, Joe, that's a bullshit narrative. And you gotta check yourself on that. Right? I'm offering opportunities, please. I've said this, matter of fact, Mr. Aaron Gauchi has been, I got to start my day with him putting me down and telling me how ungodly I am. So
damn.
I presented to him that there's a different perspective. Aaron and you guys have come into my life, met me, the little bit you've seen of me, at a time of quote unquote need, a time where, the world has kind of kicked me in the balls a few times.
Yes.
So there is an opportunity to become a hero in my life. My goal, and I don't need much, my life is easy. I don't have anything to complain about, but certainly my life could be transformed in a day. And my goal is to help others. So this is kind of the goal of humanity in my mind. If we help one, that one moves on and maybe helps others. I've been stuck for a long fucking time, man. I've tried paying people. I've tried begging people.
It's for other people to do what you should be doing. Stop it. Follow advice.
Yep.
Stop getting it.
There you go, Joe. More blame, and I'll continue.
Oh, be nice. It's advice. It's not blame.
It's okay.
Listen,
call it what you want, Joe.
Here's advice.
It doesn't help.
Advice.
It doesn't change anything, dude.
It may. Follow this advice. I've given it to you before. Every day, you're going to get up and dot that door for an hour. I don't care if you walk to the corner and stand outside. You're going to make it a habit. that'll be the start of a lot of shit. That'll be the start of you going to fucking Colorado Springs to meet me and your mans. That's
Okay,
where all that
Joe.
shit begins.
All right.
All right. You
Jack,
think I'm being mean or vicious? I'm not.
I think you're making up standards for me that are irrelevant without a purpose. You just want me to obey,
I'm
even
telling
though
you what
you
works for me.
accuse me of wanting you to obey. So, dude, whatever.
It works for me, Jack. It works for me.
Yep. Your life is different. You have different. Maybe you lacked that discipline, brother. You think I'm lacking discipline? I'm happy to discuss what you think is relevant or helpful, but
Okay.
I'd like to understand why.
All right. I think I'm gonna be nice. I'll start off nicely. I think we become creatures of habit, and we must break that habit, right? Every time I go to the fucking corner or whatever, I take a different route because I'm afraid to become a creature of habit. Right?
Okay.
I think you become a creature of habit. Now it becomes difficult to break.
Okay.
And all of these things are incumbent upon you being there. I could be totally wrong because this is you could do it over the computer, but you could do so much more in person, and your physical presence is just a real thing.
Yep. Do you think I control the opportunities, Joe? I mean, I make efforts to try and create opportunities, Joe, so I don't.
Life sucks.
I don't.
It's the 80-20. Someone told me like this. It's the 80-20, I think he called it. Only 20% of the meetings and engagements will even have an outcome. 80% of everything you do in life is nonsense. So so you got to play the numbers in this. You'll have to go to 10, 20 meetings to get to meet one or two people that.
What am I trying to accomplish in all of these meetings, Joe?
World peace, UN shit.
Well, okay. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
But my life could be transformed if one person, and I've gone to meetings, I've gone to churches, I've gone to Bible studies, if one person would try and work with me to help me change one situation. And Joe, no one has to offer anyone anything. I am asking for nothing because I am whole and complete.
What situation?
I know that I could do a lot more in my community if I wasn't avoided by people. It's like it's illogical what I'm facing all alone. And so, Joe, fine, I'll take your advice.
No.
I'll go walk down to the end of the fucking block every day. You want me to video it for you, Joe?
No, I want you.
And then if I do that every day, for how long? Will it change anything between you and I?
I want you to tell me what situation you need someone to help change.
To say it sounds ridiculous, but this is what I see. Okay. I'm hoping to find someone who sees the value in me and may actually encourage someone else to find value in me. Specifically, I mean, there's specific people I want. Part of this is manyfold. I'm trying to grow this. So please, if you find some value, hopefully you can share and encourage others to check it out. The idea is somehow, some way to build a movement, carry this solution of peace so that we somehow may possibly experience it in the future. But the other part of that, Joe, my purpose here on earth, this live without fear, I've assumed it as a message from our creator, from God. It doesn't mean anything special of me. It's just, guys, I think this is from God. And the way to live without fear with God is through love, through praise, through trust and faith. And so I'm trying to encourage others to turn to God, to turn to love.
Jack, I know the person or people, what you want people to help you with in order for you to get out of your slump or whatever. I know where you're going with that. At least I think I do. It seems difficult for you to name the person, and I'm not cruel. But I want you to understand earlier when I said our help has to be particularly specific with you. That's what I meant. There are a million other ways that I can help you, but until you get this one, you won't allow me.
Actually, please, Joe. I am at the mercy of the world. If anyone has help to offer that you think can help change this situation, please offer it. Okay, but advice for me to go walk to the end of the block without knowing where I live or what's even on the block. Joe, come on, dude. It's not helpful for me. So if anyone has help to offer,
you're just busting your balls.
No, I was not. I'm absolutely serious. I'm absolutely serious.
So what's your advice? What's your advice, Joe? What's your advice?
However charming he is on panel, he needs to open up that second door and be that charming fucking person. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's nothing.
You're saying he has like no answers. He's not doing anything. But what are the answers you have? What's the
holy hell? I wasn't okay.
You can't be critical without giving solutions.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If you're asking for my way to get into the UN, and I don't think you are. It would, if my way to get into the UN, it would be start off. I think I'll put myself in Jack's shoes. It would be start off to make a name for myself. So when I walk in the door and talk to anyone, I carry some weight. That'd be my first step. And the way I was to start that shit would be with social media. I'd panel the way he does now, and I would meet every fucking body, personal charm to death, get my message out there, meet every motherfucker at every meeting, every event. I'd be that guy. And then once my name rings, I can walk into these rooms with more authority and blah, blah, blah.
What happens hey, Joe, what happens when you keep going, keep getting ignored, keep getting misunderstood? And when you do you try to offer support for their direction, they get triggered because you're offering help the wrong way. So what if that backfires, Joe?
It absolutely backfires. I do it all the time. Every time I talk to any public official, and I talk to a million of them, it always backfires in fucked up ways. Sometimes they have my house trying to hurt me. Sometimes they spreading shit. They lie to you. It always fucking backfires, and they don't take my help. I'm stubborn as fuck, though, right? I keep at it.
I appreciate that, Joe. Sarah, if you still have the thought, you had something to offer.
Well, I was going to expand on what Joe said, because you need more than just your sole authority. If you go to the UN as just you, as a sole person, and this is not to diminish your value at all, this is any human who went there by themselves to say this, is going to be rejected. You have to go there as an army. You have to build people, like a giant group, to go with you. You need to start small, do grassroots, and build it so you have a multitude of people behind you, so they have to listen to you. If you go there as one man, you're going to get denied, ignored, and laughed at. Mm-hmm. You have to go there with an army.
Yes,
not
Sarah.
Not necessarily a physical.
Okay.
Army,
yes, Sarah. And very obvious fact. Yep, I'm well aware of that it takes, support to get attention. And for a long time, I get a lot of advice, a lot of people telling me what to do, a lot of Christians offering me prayers, but I can't convince anyone to join that which they don't approve of. It seems the doubts and disbelief that change can be affected through nobodies,
I think that's because you need more than just the idea. You need a plan. You need actual.
Yes, and I have all of that to be investigated and explored by anyone but me. Let's see if any of this could work. I've got
We've
it.
asked the plan.
Okay.
You've told us.
Yep, you've
right?
asked for it.
Right? We know the plan.
Jack, I'm in.
Hey,
right.
So you get an invite. I'm in. I'm going to get an invite for us. I'm bringing you. So I'm in 100%.
Joe, you got to remember, I called the United Nations more than once, twice, even left a message.
Goodbye, Snafu. Who gives a shit? You present yourself as a joke. You did it as a joke, and now you're just you're up here, what, to place yourself above me. Snafu, you're not welcome here until you change your attitude, brother.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I admitted that, I'm not intimately educated on all the moving parts of the conflicts in Israel, and that asshole Snafu wants to come up on the stream. Well, Jack, you just admitted you don't know enough. You can't talk about peace. You don't know. This is idiocy.
It will be difficult to talk about world peace if you aren't fully informed of foreign relations.
So what, Sarah? Sarah,
are you going to get world peace?
Sarah, so what? Hey, Sarah, come back to here. Come back to here. Remember what you just said.
Do you want world peace?
Okay.
Okay, so what is your plan to bring peace between those two very opposing, well, one's not even a country, Israel and Palestine? What's your solution to bring world
Hey,
peace?
Sarah, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, if I pass this test, is someone going to offer me something? How many tests? How many fucking plans? How many times do I have to explain truth? Truth is a solution. We end these illusions of corruption, the divisions of authority and wealth. We overcome that like adults through communication. But I know,
do you understand that that's more of a religious war over there, and it's about their beliefs and it has nothing to do with government corruption?
I know, Sarah. I know.
So
do you understand that
are not going to matter?
I know. And Sarah, you know what? Convincing you does nothing. So why am I wasting my time?
You're not necessarily wasting your
going
time.
to the UN is a waste of time. You need to work somewhere else and build up
Sarah,
to the UN. If you
Sarah, tell you what, Sarah, I'm interrupting you because I am getting offended. You guys, the lack of care. You obviously don't care about my intentions, my purpose, unless you want me to literally. Do you literally want me to stop promoting peace?
Yeah, that's what she's trying to say.
Here to go directly to the UN at the beginning with just an idea, you will fail.
Tell you what, find someone else then. That's what I'm asking you guys to do, is to help me find someone else. Okay, tell you what, I am done. Seriously. Finish up what you want. Go ahead.
Can I add in real quick? How's everyone doing?
How you doing, babe?
Happy Monday.
Good.
Thank you, Saint.
One thing I am hearing in you, Jack, and this is not to judge you. You're not as confident as you speak when it comes to expressing love towards others. When you say that you believe in God, I'm not gonna say believe. You know about God.
He does.
And when you read the Bible, Jesus didn't beg anybody to walk with him at all. He walked.
I know. I'm not him. I am not him. Stop holding me to his standards.
It's not about his standards. I was trying to go somewhere with something, but if you don't want to hear it, that's fine too.
No,
okay,
please.
You want to hear how? What are you presenting here on my platform? That you want to present? I don't know God.
No. She said
I'm lying.
She said you do know God, and let her present it rather than assume that she's a liar.
Well, I'm trying to. I offer a lot of grace and time, kindness. People get up and say what they want, and there's like no relevance. It's just fucking insulting and a false narrative of my character. But sure, Joe, let's entertain more. Go ahead, Gremlin.
Yeah. I didn't see that. I saw you cut her off after a few sentences.
I did because I know the patterns of what you guys have been offering me.
Oh, it's you guys. I never even met the girl before.
And you get mad at the wrong people, honestly. But you're getting a little loud with you put something on the table and you're throwing it away because you don't agree from their standpoint. It's not your mind. Of course, they're not going to say it from your perspective, but they are offering something where maybe you can say, well, you know what, Sarah did have a good point right here, and Joe did have a good point right here. Maybe I can use those things.
Gremlin, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I know for a fact I have acknowledged the good points. What I don't actually find a lot of, I mean, it's very, very seldom where people offer actual agreement with me, but I'm very quick and generous to acknowledge the truth. So if I overlooked some, Gremlin, today, please forgive me. Joe, Sarah, please forgive me for not
My ass, keep
acknowledging the
your insincere ass
value in the
fucking
insight
apology.
you've
My ass,
offered
no
to
thanks.
me. How ungodly of me, and just I should be
Wow.
lashed. Please
It's-
continue,
You
Gremlin.
think we're attacking you, Jack? You're taking
Well,
it
are you
That's-
supporting? Are you encouraging? Are you helpful?
I
Or are you
want
helping
you to
yourself,
succeed,
Sarah?
Jack. I want you to succeed.
Do you?
I
Not
do.
my way, but not my way.
See, very
I want you to
specific
get
help
to the
is
UN.
only
I want you to get
allowed.
there, Jack. I want you to get into the UN.
This the only thing I was gonna say, and I'm gonna jump off because I wasn't trying to rub y'all the wrong way. My bad.
No, Gremlin, you know what? My reactions are not on you. This is an accumulation of my life experience in today. So please
Right
let me
on.
not take it out on you.
Right
No,
on,
you
Jack.
good.
Very
I
good.
just the only thing I was gonna say, and I corrected myself when I said you believe in God, but I said no, you know God, you know,
He does.
because of that, I was gonna say Jesus, and I'm not saying walk His way. I'm just saying He said to me, if we gonna follow that path or walk that type of path, He was the best path that anybody can take upon themselves because He didn't beg anybody to come. He warned people about who his father was. He told people what type of things his father could offer, and he kept going. He didn't even have a shelter to stay in. He didn't. They didn't explain about food or anything. So what I was gonna say is that if love is what you truly know in your heart is the end result to it all I'm gonna say is you literally need to stand a little bit more firmer in what you're exclaiming to everyone else, because the way you're speaking, it will run anybody away, because it look like one minute you want love and the next minute you're spewing out a different type of energy, the opposite of love. So all I'm saying is stand more firm in it. If that's what you want, be that, embody it. You can't wait on anybody else to do it anyway. It's not nobody else's job. And you said God gave it to you. So why do anybody got to come along with Jack to this place? And you supposed to lead, you lead by your light. If I was to meet you and I'm like, damn, he really, hey, you know what? I might go try it out with him. But the way you're presented on the show today is like, he's not even sure.
Who cares? Okay, fine. Walk away. Thank you. Your
I
criticism has been
appreciate it.
Thank
received.
you,
I
man.
wasn't
That was
criticizing
cool.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I
no,
was
you're not criticizing. No, not at all. God bless. Any
okay.
more?
Yeah, take care, y'all. My bad. I wasn't trying to
Thank
rub you the
you.
wrong way.
Thanks for the panel today. You guys all have a good night. We'll see you later on.
All
Next
right.
time we see you. Bye, everyone.
All right.
Jack, come on over later once you've had your hooshaws. I'm gonna start a panel, but I dropped a link in the back chat for those who want it. And I'll go live once I hit 2,000 subs, but not before then. So I'm 2 away. So, anyways,
Wait, I'm gonna go get you them 2 subs, fam. All right, Jack, you be easy and holler at your guests. Give me a few minutes, I'll meet you over there. So Sarah,
right on.
it's been great, and my girl's been listening the whole time.
Thanks, Joe.
Oh, it was actually nice meeting all of you instead of talking through chat. It was actually nice to be on here with you guys.
Good meeting you too.
I appreciate it.
And Jack, don't let him get to you. people
They
love to
don't.
attack. It's all hard to come up with solutions and help people with the problems. Well, I'm not saying you have problems, but you know what I mean. It's much easier to attack than help people, which is why people love to just badger on people, bust people's balls. Yet they have nothing to say.
Thank you for
Oh
your
shit, I'm unmuted.
It's appreciated.
My girlfriend says you need to eat some food.
Is he hangry?
And
I get hangry. All right.
Watch for Flo to go live soon. Sarah, I didn't mean to come at you, but your doubt, your disbelief has been received.
My doubt's not in you, Jack. I know
Sarah, regardless, your patterns,
you are not the problem.
Yep, I know. Nobody's the problem. It's just Jack. Thank you, Sarah. I know. And I know I'm not playing the victim, but I am sick and tired of people listening to my situation and then automatically, rather than considering the explanations I offer, that I am the one who has lived this experience. These are not new thoughts I'm contemplating. And as I've said, if you don't have faith that I can do anything at the UN, who cares? Find someone else and encourage them to get the messages of peace into the minds of the government. Okay?
I mean,
hey, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from to a degree, because first of all, I mean, this is your home, right? Your corner, and there's a topic and a narrative, right? It's just like over at my place, you know, when I go live on my main channel, I like to have a main topic, and that's the point I like to stick to, right? Sometimes people like to come on and say a few things that is way off from the topic, what I'm originally presenting. Sometimes it's okay, but I like when people get back to the original point sometimes. But then sometimes it just takes its own course. It goes where it goes, right? But my original intention is to stick with the title sometimes. And it can be frustrating. So I understand what you're going through. I really understand what you're going through. But then you've got your own keys, right? So, I mean, what I would consider you to do, I mean, you do it anyway, but I've started to do it more often. I present my stuff before anybody else comes on. I get it all out, so my message is out there. And then if people feel like they want to come on and chop it up with me afterwards, then we can see whether they got anything to contribute. If not, then it just means they're trolling, right? They're just out here just to either hear their self or just to try to shame you up or something. That is how I'm starting to catch, you know, people out, whether they really got intentions to add to the build or they just come at the F around. But you know what you're doing anyway.
All right, brother. I do try doing some of that. I try keeping to a topic, but I'm going to toss you and wrap this up. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Hey, Sarah, I know you were adamant about your position. Many people find the people at the UN the problem, or the people in the government the problem, but that's the end goal that, yes, very slim chance I can achieve. What I don't think is a slim chance is finding anyone in this physical realm who's willing to work with me to try and help me resolve conflicts and disagreements that people have chosen to harbor against me for years. Okay, so Joe Cool was partially right. Yeah, I am looking for someone to try and do things the way that I'm pretty confident can work, but you don't have to trust me. The goal is, I mean, for me to have a better chance of trying to confront the UN, I'd like to have some support in my life. Logically, I thought my old friends and neighbors and family, my community, I thought they might want to join me, but so far they've been uninterested in listening to me or even giving me a chance to talk to them. So I come to strangers. You know, the prophet is rejected from his hometown. I'm not claiming to be a prophet, but I am claiming to be on a path with God. Why is so many people feel fucking, they find joy, it seems, in bringing challenges and insults? My faith has been challenged in many ways, brothers and sisters, and I come here today, each day, present myself as a man of faith. Forgive me if I stumble. Forgive me if I react, if I show my frustration or my pain. I am just a man. I don't know what the fuck is going on in this world. I don't think wars should continue. I don't think oppression should continue. I don't think families should continue to be divided. Who am I? I guess I'm a fool. But I love God and I love love. Brothers and sisters, I encourage you, go within yourself, despite what the world offers, despite what everyone says. Listen to the information. Find what is true, because what is true is valuable. But there's a lot of people who think a lot of things are true, and just because others think something is true does not fucking mean it is. I don't know. Brothers and sisters, I love love. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you, and God bless.